Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Good morning. We're Igniters. Today, we're proud to be here to ignite the hopes of thousands of blind people. We will create, sustain, and improve the employment experience of the blind people. And we will help NIB to increase its employment number by more than 50% within 5 years. I know you must be very excited, but before we talk about our strategy, we will talk about our missions first. This is the current model NIB is using to achieve its social mission. However, there is a problem. Once the federal customers lower down their budget, the 91 NPAs can no longer hire as many blind people as before. And that is the problem. And we realize that in this existing model, we have to introduce changes. So we will first expand our federal customers base to more than that. And we will no longer rely only on federal customers. And secondly, we will not only confine ourselves within the MPA system. We will introduce the self-employment and take-home tasks in addition to the MPA system so that we can benefit more blind people. Now, we are proud to present to you our CSI strategy. We will first create jobs by creating market demand. Secondly, we will sustain our jobs created by providing the best training on earth. After that, we will improve our employment experience by providing them the experience center as well as the self-employment opportunity. After that, we will talk about our implementation plan.
Okay. So the first aspect of our CSI strategy is creating more jobs. Our key questions here is, other than the federal customers, what groups should NIB target on? Igniters suggestions, business corporations, education institutes, and also the locals. So we want to maximize the brand equity of Silkcraft when targeting the free markets. A typical example of the corporate clients is that NIB can try to work with the Disneyland and try to produce some textile products and then put in sales in the Disney stores because it can provide a large and also very stable demand for the NIB products because every year there are more than 70 million people going to Disneyland US. Also, by selling the stuff in Disney store, NIB can actually save the store operating costs. We also suggest the NIB to cooperate with some schools and then produce some school textile products and also stationeries to be sold in the college stores. It is because it can maximize the social impact of NIB. It can educate the student there that actually blind people can produce high quality stuff and it leads to social inclusion. So NIB's roles in targeting the two above market is that it can utilize the research expertise as well as the higher bargaining power so that it can do the research and the negotiation tasks on behalf of its agencies when dealing with the schools and also the business clients. The third group is the LOHAS. It stands for Lifestyle of Health and Sustainability, which represents 19% of the total US populations. There are groups of people that are aware of socially responsible purchasing behavior, and so they are more ready to buy the right way products. NIB can utilize the existing e-commerce sites to target on them. Besides, we also think of the service development. Many people nowadays think that blindness is still a disadvantage. This is wrong. Now, we can close our eyes. If we want to understand the world more, we have to smell, we have to listen, and we have to touch, we have to taste. Actually, blindness can give you a chance to train up your other 5 senses. This can be an advantage. So, bearing this in mind, NIB will provide more training programs that blind people can develop strong and unique skills on, just like we have suggested counseling and also the massage industries. These 2 industries, we choose these 2 industries because they are not targeted by the current MPAs, and so they represent huge market potentials. And by providing the training, quality jobs will be created because there will be higher job certification and better performance of the blind people when they are in the industries that they have unique skills on.
The second part of CSI strategies is called Sustain, which will be focusing on technologies, accessibilities, as well as training. So first of all, let us talk about the assistive technologies that can be provided to blind people. As you can see, there are different kinds of iPhone apps actually available to blind people nowadays, which includes like the one which helps with performing different kinds of administrative duties like counting the dollars or to create a hassle-free environment for the blind and the non-blind to cooperate. Also, NIB can actually also cooperate and partner with the corporations of blind citizenships, which is actually an organization which provides 50% rebate for the investments in the machineries as shown below for blind people to operate. However, don't forget, actually technologies at the same time can settle the accessibility problem as faced by NIB. Let's think about it. The people who are in Denver can actually do not need to travel to the nearest MPA, which may be like miles away from them. And this particular traveling problem can be settled by different kinds of technologies, like for them to work at home and to communicate on real time with their employers and employees. And for training, the current path for NIB is actually to utilize the expertise to launch different types of programs to help the blind people with the job-specific skills as well as the soft skills. But Ignite is saying that this is actually not sufficient. We have actually a lot of free and resources that are actually able to improve our resources in training and performance. That is to engage the corporate employees, students, and even the blind people themselves in the marketplace to actually create a training environment that is socially inclusive. By doing so, we can actually help the blind people to develop themselves into their self-confidence as well as self-reliance.
The last thing to do is to improve. We will improve the employment experience by two things. First, we will improve the social inclusiveness, and then we will provide an opportunity for the blind people to realize their American dreams. Okay, so many of us still believe that blind people are not as capable as the other of us. But indeed, Simon has proved that we are wrong. And we can provide the general public with the Experience Center. How it works? In the Experience Center, the general public will have the chance to cover their eyes and work well with the blind people for products like pottery, textile, and accessories. During the process, the non-blind people will have the chance to realize that actually the blind people are more competent than they expected. It can not only improve social inclusiveness, but also it can create a lot of jobs. Why? Because once we change the culture, then the employers are more likely to employ the blind people. It can also serve as a branding for our MPAs because all these experience centers will be all operated under our MPAs, and it is indeed a very good differentiation point when compared to other NGOs or MPAs. The second thing is providing them with the self-employment opportunities. It is very important to provide them with this opportunity because self-employment provides a great deal of job satisfaction. And in this area, NIB can play a significant role in these three processes. First, in the strategy formulation stage, we can provide them with our advice and modify their proposal. And then in the funding and the recruitment stage, we can also provide them with a lot of human resources as well as our expertise.
With our CSI strategy, you will wonder how much social impact we're going to achieve. And here we measure it through the KPI, the number of new employment. As you can see here, though our create strategy creates a new and growing demand. And then because due to the locked-in cost disadvantage, it's not that as scalable as the sustain and then improve strategy, as you can see from the results here. So therefore, we, together with this social impact and also the branding effect, which we evaluate the importance of our suggestions, and also we consider the urgency, and here we prioritize all our suggestions. And here comes the implementation details. So you can see that from the first year, 2014, we're going to do mainly the program design and also the preparation. And the new job employment will mainly comes from the modification of the existing system. And in 2015, we're actually going to have the knowledge-based jobs in place. And because of the experience center and then the self-employment is kind of a new concept, it's kind of a long-term thing to change to change the environment. So we're going to focus it as a long time, say, shot. And also, not only we achieve the social impact, here we also sustain our good financial position, as you can see from the result here. So with our CSI strategy, we actually create, sustain, and improve employment opportunities, just exactly as the mission of NIB. So herefore, with CSI, we actually live our promise, which is every purchase creates a job, and every job realizes a dream, the American dream. Thank you.
So, going back from the beginning, I think a lot of part of your premise is that you rely on that, you kind of target that group that has more social responsibility. But those people that have more of a desire for social responsibility are already being targeted by all these other people that, it's kind of the people that give the most money when people call the phone, and you kind of gauge those people, they know where to go. How are you going to differentiate from those people?
So that's a very good question. So we have mentioned the 3 types of people that we want to target, just like the commercial clients that have spent a lot on the CSR strategy, and also educational industries, and also the locals. So in order to differentiate from others, first of all, NIB will utilize its network because it's a well-known organization that has run for many years. So because it has the network and reputation, so it has a higher bargaining power to talk with the schools and then let the schools to let NIB products be placed in their school stores and be sold to the students. Besides, actually, we have some combinations between our plans. For example, in NIBs in targeting to schools, actually it will also make some promotions in school that we will recruit some student ambassadors to work with the blind people, just like Matthew has suggested in his training program, so that it will help the NIBs and the blind people to get a higher awareness among the students, and then it will be easier for us to target them.
Moreover, actually, we can also look at the different situations currently in the universities and schools in the United States. We have actually researched into different universities, what they are helping, what their community services are in these universities. What we found out is that actually just in this Georgetown University, over 73% of the students has actually participated in community service. But if you look deeper into this particular figure, you will know that most of these so-called community services are actually provided for them to have a day perhaps to mingle or to understand, to help those kinds of people. But this is something that is not sustainable. We try to use the products as a distribution channels to penetrate into the students' life. And of course, through the students actually working with these particular blind people, they understand about the blind people much better. And they are themselves acting as an ambassador for the changes in our future generation. And this somehow sparkle and ignite our mindsets change for the future generations. Moreover, because we have already established a very good branding for our NIB, that is, originally, NIB is already like setting up its own e-commerce site that is very popular to the US citizens. And at the same time, this particular brand differentiates from other brands in terms not because of their core strategies, but because of the social impacts that it can create. It is definitely a kind of sustainable strategies that can be created for NIB.
Picked at a couple of areas where you thought the employment potential would be good. I think massage was one, counseling. How would you select that pool of potential employment opportunities and provide training around that?
Actually, we can discuss about the massage industry, and my colleagues will actually talk about the other counseling industry we have mentioned. About the massage industry, actually we found that more than 50% of people nowadays in the US actually enjoy the massage services that are provided in their Asian counterparts. For example, in massage industry, for these kind of services, it actually originates from the Asia side. And at the same time, many of the US people actually nowadays, they really enjoy these types of services. However, if we look at the US market compared to the Asia market, you will realize that the servicing parts, the labor cost in the US is much more expensive compared to Asia. In this case, we are targeting the massage services because it is like a very low cost input. If you consider the massage, which the blind people just need to learn the skills and they can help a lot of people out. And at the same time, we can see for the competitors as well, there is not a lot of competitors currently in the US market. And with that particular blind people, it is also a gimmick to the people who want to enjoy the service. Because just as Simon just demonstrated to you, if you are a blind person, you realize that actually you are not using your vision, but you are familiarizing yourself and excel in your touching and also smelling other kinds of senses.
Maybe I can talk about the counseling industry. Actually, it is an inspiration we gained from the Hong Kong Blind Union. In the Hong Kong Blind Union, the blind people actually provide a lot of counseling services to the general public. The main reason for that is that actually the blind people have a very different perspective about life. So imagine when you have some failure in your relationship, your academics, or your career, you think your life is very unfair, so you're unfairly treated. But once you talk with the blind people, they will guide you through that. Maybe they, from when they're very young, they already lead their life with their eyes cannot see anything. So this is a very good inspiration to the people facing difficulties, and we are indeed actually leveraging the strength, just like we have mentioned, to not only talk about blind people are not only not disadvantageous, but indeed they are advantageous in some areas.
The experience centers you talked about, I thought that was intriguing. Where would those be located, and how many of them would there be?
Actually, preliminarily, we want to set up the MPAs after the experience center after we have targeted the general public, because currently we only target the government officials or the procurement, so we cannot actually provide these services very soon. But after we have set up our physical store as well as implement our e-commerce market, we can select several MPAs located in the tourist spots, so that more people will be there, and then we can actually partner with some tourist agency so that we can have the automatic marketing effect, and then we can invite the general public to work well with the blind people, and we can deliver our social mission.
And for this experience center, actually we're going to, if we come to the implementation details, here's where we're going to do it. Like first of all, we're going to utilize our NPA networks, because we have 91 NPAs, and also we're going to utilize our office locations. We have 250, say, locations around the states. So we're going to utilize the kind of network to actually choose a location. There are several, say, successful examples previously. For example, in Columbia City, they have this kind of street with those shops providing handicrafts, and they can actually invite those customers to actually see those products, but they don't provide this kind of customer experience services. This is something we want the blind people, what we can actually produce, and then to add value to them, because they have better senses, so when they touching, so when they make things, and then when they communicate with others, we think it would be a great experience. So that's what we target, just saying, like, for example, among the 91 NPAs, we can actually say for each one of them, we can actually encourage those with suitable products, for example, as pottery, textile, and accessories, to open a certain shop, say with our support location, say choice, like that, so that we can actually attract more customers in this way. And it's also enhance our relationship with those NPAs, because this is a new way to promote them, to let them get some exposure from the private sector, from the commercial customers, and also raise our brand equity as the skill craft. Thank you.
1 minute.
I had a question about your recommendation of improving self-employment. So you did talk about, how you want to leverage opportunities to work from home. And so I think that in itself is good, but why did you decide to add an additional goal of pursuing self-employment, considering that, there's a lot of factors that go into kind of like making sure someone's stable enough for that?
Sure.
Yeah, because when we are trying to improve the job opportunities for the blind people, we consider not only the width, but also the depth of the job opportunities. We want not only blind people to work for someone else. Maybe it is good in some cases. For example, when the blind people are not confident enough. But indeed, some blind people are also very ambitious and very competent in some area, and they need a chance to realize their goal. And as mentioned here, actually, blind self-employment is not only providing the most job satisfaction, but it is also a very sustainable employment scheme. Because we have done some research on some NGOs in other countries. Some of them have, for example, the previous alcoholic to be the CEO of some NGO, and then they can provide the best services to the customers of that NGOs because they use their own user experience as the management philosophy. So by the same token, actually the CEO of the new company can employ more blind people because actually they are the best one to decide the best operation model for blind people.
And if someone succeeds, there will be a great encouraging effect for the rest, because the blind people, they may not tend to have less, confidence than the others. So if they actually succeed, they will be really encouraging others to join them and build confidence.
Conclusion?
Okay, sure. So during the Q&A sections, actually we understand that you address several, concerns about the things we actually about our suggestions. First of all, it's actually about the market demand. It's about how, because we first of all modify our existing systems. And as we said, because this, and you actually mentioned about, those people we're going to target may already have a saturated market, effect. So first of all, I think there are three reasons. First of all, because we actually identified some unsatisfied demand. For example, in this university, we don't see any, shops that selling blind people made stuff or actually promote this kind of effect to help the blind to get employed. Actually, a lot of people are concerned about this when we talk to them. And secondly, we think this is actually a brand building effect. It's like how we pursue them, and we can leverage our network to persuade them to help us, as we are the only one, as the NIB is the only one that is, designated organization for the blind people. This is something we need to utilize. And also the third thing, our brand as NIB, it is really established institution. If we approach to the schools, or if we approach the commercials, this is a kind of win-win situation. We add value to ourselves through more distribution channels, through the commercials and schools, and also they can enhance their social responsibility, their corporate image. So we think this is actually a good, plan, and we will have great demand for this. But because of the lock-in cost disadvantage, we need to have additional approach. It is like the skill-based jobs. This actually can leverage those blind people's advantages, and also we have less competitive market demand in this case. And apart from this, we also have this experience center and self-employment concept, which can actually really help those, build our, brand equity, and also create some long-term effect. Because we think the best thing to do it is to actually enhance the employment environment for the blind. So based on this concept, we think this will be a great plan.
So today we have delivered our CSI strategy, and we want to conclude it with 4 outstanding points of our project. Firstly, it is the quantity and quality of jobs that we are creating. For the quality side, we will expand to the new markets, just like commercial clients and educational industries. And also, we will have new experience centers and also a self-employment firm. So by 5 years, we will create thousands of jobs for the blind people. For the quality of jobs, actually the self-employment support is a chance for them to have career advancement, for them to become an entrepreneur. so that it has a choice for them to move forward. And secondly, we turn disadvantage into competitors. For example, we have the massage industry training for them so that they can actually utilize their other 5 senses into their job. Also, we will adopt a lot of assistive technologies so that blind people can now do more take-home tasks and will not be disadvantaged when compared with other normal people.
The third standout point is about the exploring the new market opportunities. Because the demand is now decreasing, and at the same time, it's very difficult for us to reduce the cost due to our lock-in cost, as just mentioned by Louisa. At the same time, we need to target new types of customers. So we propose the lowest populations as well as the corporations, which stresses on corporate social responsibilities. And for the lowest population, they stresses on self-identity, social values created for each purchases, as well as their ethics. And at the same time, we are also, the fourth standpoint, we are also utilizing the wasted labor and free resources. We all understand about 75% of labor, which are actually wasted nowadays, because they are actually capable of performing. These blind people has their ability. However, their abilities is now being deprived of. And at the same time, we understand that in the markets, we do have some kinds of free resources. We mentioned about the volunteering by the students, also by the corporate employees. For example, HSBCs themselves have employees engagement schemes. These kinds of things are actually good free resources to promote social inclusion and to help them develop themselves into more independent, more self-confident individuals. And therefore, we want to sparkle a very mindset change from time to time, from generations to generations. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, every purchase creates a job.
Every job actually realizes a dream.
Every dream opens up a non-discriminated society.
Thank you very much.